Well, hello. Welcome, internet friends near and far, to another episode of Parks and Conversation. This is a podcast where we just take a good long while talking about a single episode of Parks and Recreation. And it's a fun journey that we've all been on. And, we're coming into a new chapter season 4, episode 2. And before we get too far into the tomfoolery of this episode, my name is Jason, and I'm joined all the way across town by my friend Jeremy. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, man. It's great. It's a beautiful day. I get to talk about one of my favorite television shows with one of my favorite people in the whole world. Jocelyn's here, and you're also here.
Oh, that's good. That's just sorry. What show are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about season 4, episode 2.
Oh.
It's going to be good. It's a good one. It's the title of the official thing is Ron and Tammys.
Mm-hmm.
Ron and Tammys. And the basic premise...
All the Tammys.
Yeah. But one of them goes by Tamara. Or is named Tamara, but she goes by Tammy. Anyway. So there's a basic premise of this episode is Tammy 1 has returned, and she's trying to control Ron's life. And Leslie is trying to undo that. Meanwhile, Ben is trying to help Tom realize his business is going to be a failure. And Anne is helping Chris realize his goal of being a PSA star. I think I summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I watched too.
Good. All right. I'm glad we were on the same episode because that could have been really embarrassing. And this one, it breaks down into 3 distinct plots. So we're going to just tackle it as 3 different plots. The 3 plots do not interact with each other at all, which is unusual, I feel, in this show. Because it's not that big of an office or that big of a cast, but they're all doing their own thing this time. So dealer's choice. You're the dealer. Which one should we go with first between B or C? Because we'll do A last.
Let's hear. Which one are you giving which plot to?
Ben and Tom is B, and Anne and Chris is C.
Let's do Anne and Chris first.
Okay.
Because I that was my least favorite. And then I think Ben's is actually really funny. And then the A plot, of course, is really, the meat of the whole episode. So let's start with C.
Okay. So the C plot is Anne and Chris working together, which is, it's an opportunity that could be rife with tension because they used to date. But
they're friends now.
Anne Perkins. And so Anne comes to Chris's office, and we see that they're in Chris's office as she's playing a old PSA from the previous public health director named Walt Morphling, which is a fantastic name, Morphling. And it's a PSA about adult onset diabetes, and it's really old and it's really gross. And some of the things that they can do to prevent adult onset diabetes are getting an annual checkup, exercising, and praying, which I love. So yeah, sure. You got it. And so Anne asked Chris to help make a new one because, he's telegenic, he's in good health. He would be a great person to do this. And he's immediately he's flattered, and then right away jumps into wanting full artistic control. He's like, is there a script? I need a script. I need it in an hour. And then also what should we do for wardrobe? And Chris has a spiraling tendency here. And so as he's asking about wardrobe, he's like casual, formal, semi-formal, sporty, scary, posh, baby. Those are Spice Girls. I just got caught up in my own thoughts. And so, so Chris is going to spiral out of control on this. And Anne seems to immediately regret asking him in the visual of all of this. It's like, oh, okay, this is happening. And then,
Yeah. Because Walt had to retire at 46 because he had diabetes. That the public health director got diabetes. So
right. Yeah.
He literally morphed his way out of a job.
Yeah. I wonder if he wasn't praying enough.
Yeah.
And I say that as a person of faith. An atheist can't make that joke.
Well, they could.
But I would be offended as a person of faith.
Okay.
So that's how America works. All right. And then what?
Nothing.
Okay. So drop down. It seems like days go by for this episode.
Yes.
And so I don't know how many days happen between when we are introduced to this to when they actually start recording, because the next time we see Chris and Anne, they are recording in Chris's office, and he is saying his line. He's saying, diabetes can't be cured, but it can be prevented. Make a choice, make a change, and together we can make a difference. And then he asks for notes and is like, no, it's good as the last one. But Chris is like, I'd like to do another one. And he asks for more takes. And Anne's like, look, we got it. It's done. And he's like, well, it's important to me because it's important to you. And so it's like, whoa, that's interesting. Like, as I first watched this, I was like, that's interesting that he's like, it's important to me because it's important to you. So I don't know if Chris is having some heart change here, if this is them casting the seeds for some change in Chris's life in regards to Anne Perkins.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be as funny, but I still feel like if she had just spoken up and said, well, it is important, but it's like, it's important that we get this done and we've got it. So stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pooping.
Having watched many office PSA stuff and corporate training videos in my lifetime.
I've made some.
I mean, they're not art.
They're not. Oh no. In fact, the best ones are the ones that make fun of the old ones. So it's like, these are going to be bad no matter what. So let's have a little bit of fun with it.
Let's just recognize what this is.
Hey guys, here's a PSA. You guys don't want to watch this. We don't even want to make it. But, Larry stuck his hand in the toaster again. So here we are.
They budgeted for this. So yeah. I can't just put it all on a PowerPoint slide and say, don't put your hand in the toaster. We have to act it out. We have to look at all the possible different ways that hands could end up in toasters, connected or severed. There's a lot of different...
It's not my hand.
Yeah, that's another thing. What if it's like, okay, the science says don't put your hand in the toaster. What if I want to put Bill's hand in the toaster?
That's a HR situation at that point.
But that's another whole half hour of video. So, I mean, this is what happens with these.
I really want to make this video now. I'd shoot it like a horror film. Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah, it would be really good. And it would be even better if you could get Bill Murray to be in it. And,
somehow.
And say in my previous documentary, Groundhog's Day, I thought I went through all the different iterations of self-destruction with toasters, mainly just dropping it in the tub. But there's more. Did you know that nearly one office accident every year happens where one office toaster related accident happens every year? And did you know that about 50% of those are involving hands?
Which easily could have been avoided.
Totally could have been avoided. Also, knives in toasters, bad idea. So let's talk about toaster safety in the workplace. And then just go on from there. I feel like I'm writing this for you. So
yeah, it's pretty much done at this point.
Yeah. You roll with it, Microsoft. So Chris is pretty excited about it. He wants to get it perfect because Anne spent a lot of time writing this. And she says, not really. Anne wants to put as minimal effort into this as possible. And
well, I think he sucked all the energy out of it. Like, hey, let's do this. This should be easy. And then, yeah, she's like, we've got it. This is done. So it's not. I don't know if she doesn't want to put any effort. I just think like their levels of expectations are way far apart.
Right. Yeah. But Chris is a perfectionist in all things, and so he wants to get it perfect. And then so the scene ends with, so let's do one more, then 5 more, then 20 in a row. So
I
that should
haven't
do
seen
it.
this one in a long time. That one made me laugh out loud. I was like, yep.
Then 20 in a row. So and then
So that'd be 16 in a row, or 26 in a row.
yes, and there might be breaks. I don't know if they're going to get the craft food cart come in and like help make sure that they get things taken care of with a vegetable loaf for the talent. So yeah, so cut to one of these many takes. Chris jumps into frame. He's like, diabetes, fight it. Not quite, but I like the energy. Are we still rolling? and just like, yeah. And so he's and asked to take a break, and he's like, that's a great idea. We're so close. And he's like, I'm going to clear my whole schedule, and and cuts to a talking head, and Anne's like, I don't know why I dated him for a long time, and he broke up with me. So and in the background, Chris is still like working out the lines, like revising the script as they go.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what also made me laugh. Fat equals splat, as in you're dead. Is there something there?
No, I don't know.
That sucked. But and then he starts saying like, all right, let's go with this. Are we still rolling from the top, everybody? And Anne just looks at the cameras like, I'm the only one here. So it's a total expectation fail here. He thinks it's a lot bigger, and Anne is trying to bring it down to earth.
And I wonder if these are like little in jokes that like Sure and Sure didn't write this. I didn't write down who it was, but it's like little Hollywood things. Like I'm sure they've all dealt with actual actors who are like this. So, it's Rob Lowe. I'm sure they've been around people who do this in real, like in their actual Hollywood job, acting, I guess you call it.
Yeah. Often people call a Hollywood job acting, but there's so many Hollywood jobs.
Sure.
I would like to see the set design person go, no, you didn't get that take from the top. Like that would be fantastic.
Yeah, Hollywood job.
For a Hollywood job.
Yeah.
So then next time it cuts back to Anne, she's sitting out in the lobby of Chris's office, and talking to the delivery guy. And she's like, how were we together for 5 months? And he's like, maybe it's just because of your life situation and where your life is emotionally. And like they're having this deep conversation with John, the delivery guy, who we never see again.
No.
And then Chris comes out and is like, I just found I have a stain on my shirt, so we have to start all over. Everything we used is not usable anymore.
You laugh, but I have had that happen to me. I did a marketing video for a relatively large Northwest company, and there was one of the people that I filmed. Her hair she had one piece of hair that kind of was out of place and fell down just right over her eyebrow, but then back out. And it was great takes, amazing takes. Got the review footage back, and they're like, I can't be on camera like that. We got to reshoot it.
I need to know what company this is.
I can't. I don't want to say it over the air.
Could you say what it rhymes with?
Romera.
Ah, yes.
So,
okay.
I was like, really? Okay.
Oh,
so then we
bummer.
set up this whole other, and I did the whole thing in one day and had to set up this other, anyway. And then they hated the second take even more because we didn't have as much control over the set because we had to rush to get it done.
Right.
So anyway, it's like these things absolutely happen. I have a stain on my shirt, throw it out.
Oh my gosh. That's awful. I couldn't imagine the frustration like being done and feeling so close to being done. So when you were watching this, were you feeling like Anne in this? Like, it's over. Let's just move on.
This is great. And her take, the take, sorry, was even better. So the first time. So anyway, I was just going back to Parks and Rec, just to change the subject a little bit. I was really jealous of this because my delivery guy just throws stuff at the door and walks away. So we never get into deep conversations.
Do you have just one delivery person?
I recognize like there's 2 or 3 that come through our neighborhood that have like a route. And so if we order things, because my neighbor, they get stuff like every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My wife is one of those people. Like all the time. Every day I come home, it's like, what is this? And it's in a box. So I don't know. Like I can't tell. Or it's in like one of those weird
What-
envelopes that they're mailing
what's-
stuff in.
What's in the box?
That's how I feel every time. It could be Gwyneth Paltrow's severed head. I don't know.
Don't- Don't put that in the toaster.
What about the toaster oven? Gross. So that's the scene, and then the final scene of the C plot is Chris wrapping it up. Together we can make a difference. That's it. I think we got it. And Anne's like, yeah, we got it now. We got it 7 hours ago. We're good. And then Chris is like, I'm only trying to be my best that I can be, and I want to do this for you. So thank you for the opportunity and your patience and your intelligence and your insight. You are really an amazing human being. And then a talking head where the Anne's like, oh, that's why I dated him. So, because he makes people around him feel amazing and validated. And so Anne realizes like that's his superpower. So yeah, so that's the C plot. Just the two of them working together on this PSA. And there's knowing the whole story, like they could have advanced some relationship dynamics after this, but I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't like fast forward some things between Anne and Chris. Instead they let it breathe for a while,
Yeah,
So,
it helps those things later make more sense when it's like
Mhm.
there was conflict there, so there's time and they need to figure out who they are, individually, and who Anne, like when Anne was talking to the delivery guy, I think that's why they threw that in there. And so once she can figure out who she wants to be and Chris learns how to, calm himself down, then they could actually be together. So yeah, it makes sense instead of just like in, 6 episodes they're back together or something like that. You're like, where did this come from? So,
yeah. Yeah, I do also appreciate the wisdom of the delivery man, John.
yeah,
It was like, this is the most lines any extra has ever gotten. I bet John actually has more words on screen than Councilman Hauser.
probably
Like to this point, like it's always just like Miss Nope.
Miss Nope, right?
Right. And then later, I think the only other time we hear him speak is when they're in a council session, and he says, "We really just kind of choose who's next."
Right.
Right. I think that's it. Hauser doesn't have very many lines. He does great. So just carries the role. Yeah. So C plot. I gave it the C plot because I give that plot a C.
The grade of this plot is the same letter as it is a C.
Exactly. It was fine. It wasn't the funniest thing, but it was good. Just a little bit of relational dynamic between Chris and Anne. Yeah. Would this episode have been fine without it? Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. It would have been great without it. And I would have loved to have more of the B plot.
Or at least more, like we needed more PSA, like the PSA, because they did the same thing in The Office when The Office had their PSAs and the training videos.
Mhm.
So I think that's a thing that somebody, Daniels or Sure, really likes to kind of poke fun at, because yeah, I'm sure a lot of filmmakers have started in that area, and so it's kind of like, here's our chance to say just how terrible these really are.
Right. Yeah. So are you lobbying for like the release the whole cut of that PSA with Morphling?
No, because with Morphling, yeah, for sure, yeah, because they're some of them are so bad they're good. Did I send you? I wish we had an external, like maybe we can tweet it out or something like that. Have I sent you the Sizzler one, the marketing video? Like
No.
where they're trying to get their franchise, like people to buy into their franchises. It's one of the most amazingly terrible, awesome American power like marketing videos I've ever seen in my life. So, I'll send it to you, and if you think it's good enough, you should send it out on the official Parks and Rec Twitter feed.
Okay, which is at Parks and Convos.
Parks and Convos. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay.
So
B plot.
Well, did I tell you about the time? Or I'm sure I've told you about this, but listener, did I tell you about the time that I did comedy for a church, and the opening was PSAs? They didn't have an opening act. It was PSAs. And one of them was slips, trips, and falls in the workplace. And the other was about the importance of safety belts in automobiles in the like 1950s and 60s, and it was terrifying. And then,
Oh, God.
then it's like the ending shot. They're putting dolls in the car and crashing them into things. The
Mhm.
ending shot is an upturned car with a baby doll's blinkless eye staring into the camera. That's like the end of the video, and then the MC comes up, is like, "Oh man, isn't that great? Who's ready to laugh?" I'm like, "Oh,
Well,
all right."
I guess I can top that.
It's only uphill from here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. See, those PSAs are very funny, but like obviously somebody watched Mystery Science Theater 3000 because and the Riff Tracks guys, because they would actually do some of those old PSAs and make fun of them. Like, and they're hilarious, but you need that making fun of part, or else they're
Right.
just really bizarre and terrifying.
Yeah, they just played them without comment.
You guys make the jokes up in your own head.
Yeah. It's just like the slip, trips, and falls one is pretty funny because it's like
Right.
the people who can't figure out how the bread works in the made for TV stuff, or as seen on TV commercials. Like, have you ever tried to do this? Like, make a sandwich and all the bread explodes out of the bag. It's like, what am I going to do? Like, that was pretty funny. But then it got real dark.
Has gravity ever stopped working for you?
Yeah. No, it always works.
It's like these people that just fall down for no reason.
Yes. Well, there's people like hanging off one foot, like on a ladder and stuff, which I'm not going to lie, I've done that a bunch of times. But, and this is why they make the videos, because idiots like me who are like, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Because I used to paint houses. I used to have to be like, I could get down and move the ladder 2 feet over, or I can just stretch real good.
Yeah. Or do the whole like jump shimmy kind of jump.
No, I never had the courage to try that.
The Clark Griswold move. No,
but Steve Gustafson, he would do that all the time with like a 5-gallon bucket of paint up there on the ladder with him,
sloshing around.
How are you not spilling this everywhere? He's like, I don't know. And yeah, Steve was a wild man.
Classic Steve.
Yeah. So let's talk about the B plot.
Okay.
Because Tom comes to see Ben, and Ben is really excited. He's like, "Hey man, thanks for texting me to hang out." It's like, cool. I feel like we're becoming friends. And Tom's like, yeah. I need you to help me with some nerd stuff. And basically just to go over some spreadsheets to help Entertainment 720 get their business squared away. And Ben's like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll just do that. I'll just sit in my mom's basement with my Star Wars pajamas and go over spreadsheets." Like, yeah, that sounds great. And Ben's like, "Okay." Or Tom's like, "Perfect. I have these things called break-even analysis tables." And Ben's like, "Oh, break-evens, those are fun." So immediately he's like, "Yes, I'm on board. I love this stuff." And so Tom has roped Ben into helping him with the business issues that they have, and goes to a talking head, and it's like, Ben is just like, "It's almost too easy." And Ben is in the background. It's like, "I can hear you." He's like, "I know, Ben. That's how easy it is." So,
poor Ben.
I do love that this Parks and Rec actually acknowledges the talking head. Like, people can hear what they're saying to the talking head.
Yeah.
Because that always drives me nuts. We were watching a show as a family. It was Superstore. And in the final episode of Superstore, they're all sitting on like a couch watching videos. Have you seen? Did you finish Superstore?
Yeah.
Okay. They're all sitting on a couch watching videos, right? And one character looks over to the other character and says something like kind of sweet and endearing.
But it was really loud.
Yeah, really loud. And everybody is all there. Is like, how come nobody else heard that? Because Jocelyn said, how come nobody else heard that? It's like, TV rules don't make sense. Like, people can't hear unless your face is right at them. So I just appreciate that this show takes the time to actually acknowledge, like, no, people can hear.
This is how physics work.
Yeah. Sound it moves and you can hear it pretty good. All right. So then cut to the next scene in the B plot. Tom brings Ben over to E720 headquarters and says, "Welcome to paradise, my man. You can chill over there by the bar. You can also basketball anytime you want." There's Roy Hibbert and Detlef Schrempf. And Ben's like, "Oh, that's an actual NBA player." And he's like, "Yeah, because I forgot that there was an NBA strike." And so that's like, Yeah, we got him on for only 75% of his original NBA salary.
My word.
And which is an insane amount of money. So, yeah. So Tom has, Detlef and Roy just shooting hoops. And yeah, so then John Ralphio comes in and Roy does Roy and Detlef work in tandem to give John Ralphio a slam dunk alley-oop situation. And then he runs over to see Ben and gives him a nickname right away. Is like, "Hey, what's your name? Ben? Ben? Is that your real name? Yeah. Oh, okay, you can do better than that. How about right now? Your name is Angelo." Tells him to get a thicker tie. And then
which is kind of funny too, because John Ralphio's real name is Ben Schwartz. So
that's right.
Oh, you could do better than that.
I didn't even put that together. That's so funny. Yeah. So and then he's like, "Look, we're gonna need you to help with some of this paperwork. So if you can find it, can you take care of it for us?" So, and we don't have any pens because we're afraid it's gonna leak on our shirts. And Tom is just like right there nodding along. He's like, "Yeah, all this is true." And then he's like, "Also, I hate your nickname. Your new nickname is Jello Shot." Yeah.
What do you think of that, J Shot?
J Shot.
He gives his nickname a nickname.
Right. And so then Ben is like, they're like, "Do you have any questions?" Like, "Yeah, where are we? What is this?" And so Tom's like, "Hey, if you have anything, and ask any of these models we pay to hang out, they'll get it for you." And then Ben's like, hey, goes over to somebody, "Are you the receptionist?" And she's like, "Yeah." It's like, "How much are you getting paid?" $100,000 a year with benefits. And so Ben is flabbergasted. And the talking head is, "I would guess they'd be bankrupt by the end of this sentence." And somebody comes over and offers champagne. It's like, this is all bad. Everything about it is bad. So then fast forward in time, and Ben is coming back to the office, and they're like, "Hey, look who's here." And everybody's saying hi to Ben. And I love, like, when Detlef and Roy say hi, he's just like, "Professional basketball players." And Roy's like, "Sup, Jello Shot." Like, he doesn't even remember who they were. Like,
Right.
If I had met professional NBA players, even if I wasn't a sporty person, I would still be like, that was the person in the NBA. So
Right.
like
Yeah.
a couple months ago, I was down Bellevue, right? I'm driving and I saw Detlef Schrempf crossing the street. And I texted you, like, "I saw Detlef Schrempf crossing the street." Like,
Yeah.
This is a big deal. So you would remember these, especially these are like Indiana Pacers. So
Well, and they're giant human beings. Roy Hibbert was like 7'2".
yeah, he's probably still 7'2".
Well, yeah.
I mean, he's not dead, is he?
I don't think so. No, he's
This got dark.
No. He's coaching with Philadelphia.
Okay.
He's I mean, not head coach. He's like a player developer. Anyway, yeah.
But he's
you
alive.
would remember. He's alive. Yeah.
Good. So Ben starts asking questions about their business, like, "How are you making money?" And their answer is by literally printing their own money. They have a printing press.
Like every child's dream. Like, why can't we just make our own money? Like, we'll just spend it.
Yeah. So they have a printing press with the E720 logo on it and their faces. And they go into clubs and they just yell out, "Free money!" and throw these bills up in the air. And this is how they're planning to make money.
I think that would have the opposite effect. Like, if I was somewhere and somebody yelled "free money" and it's floating around, and I took the effort to like box somebody out to grab some money off the ground or whatever, and it turns out to be fake, I would be very upset and never use that company.
Me too.
That's
Also,
a bad idea.
I'm 100% positive that those fake dollar bills do not have any information about what E720 actually is.
It's true.
Because John, Ralphio, and Tom don't know what it actually is. It's as bad as when you go to a restaurant with somebody as a Christian, you see these things happen and they're like, I'll get the tip. Like, "Oh, great. That sounds awesome. Thank you for doing that." And they put out $1 million bill. And on the back is a invitation to follow Jesus. which I don't know if that's ever worked for anybody in the history of personal evangelism, but they keep trying. So please stop.
Is the idea like an invitation to personal invitation to accept Jesus worth like more than $1 million? Like you can't put a price on this.
Exactly. You nailed it.
Okay. I'm just wondering why $1 million versus like an infinity symbol. I don't know.
Do you want some grace bucks?
What do those translate to Stanley Nichols?
Here's an infinity bill. I was like, oh, like in the Avengers? Not at all.
No.
Not at all like in the Avengers, because Tony dies. But he doesn't come back to life. Whereas our Lord and Savior, Jesus, laid his life down, but he didn't stay dead. He snapped the devil on the cross.
Wow.
And then he snapped again through the anyway, I'll stop. Yeah, so as they are trying to like talk about throwing their money around, they also hit the party switch, and things are going on and having a big old party for the free money. And Ben's like, this has to stop right now. And Tom's like, what are you doing? Like, when you hit the party switch and the next second you're like, business? And he's like, I need all of your books. And I'm like, okay, well, somebody will get you the books. And they start calling everybody baby. And then they go back into the party shot, or the party switch. And Ben is perplexed. Like, how am I going to work for these people at all? So, yeah. Now, I don't own a small business, but I would say that Ben is a reasonable person, and he's trying to help his friends. And Tom and John Ralphio are just like you said, like that kid's dream of being able to print their own money. They're kids who have all the cash they think they need. And they do not. So that's a tense moment here. As the next time we see this part of the story, Ben is telling them, like, if you want to survive, you have to immediately downsize. Like, you don't need this airplane hangar. And
yeah, we do.
Yeah, I think we do.
I think we do.
Yeah, and then he's like, and you have to keep detailed financial records. And Roy and Detlef are like, yeah, we've been telling them that. And so Detlef is like, they wouldn't know a non-employee tax reportable expenditure request if it bit them in the ass. So, and then Tom's response, like, you've never started your own company, but in all likelihood, these people, like the NBA and NFL, like they're actually training people to start their own like licenses and charities, and hiring people to do these things as a way to like help perpetuate their income after their career. Like they're doing that. So
and help their communities, and it's
yeah. And so I'm positive Detlef Schrempf and Roy Hibbert probably in real life both have some kind of business that they run, you know, or own, and then hire people who know what to do that are actually running it. So so they're Tom and John Ralphio are just dumb. So and
the way he talks to him, like earlier, he's like, you just want me to play basketball? He's like, yeah, and be quiet, keep your mouth shut. And it's like, who started their own company? Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't YouTube bozos. Like, it's just the fact that he's talking to these NBA guys are like so much better at business and life than he is at this point.
Right. Yeah. So Tom is thinks he knows everything, but he knows nothing. And Ben's like, look, you can keep doing all this stuff, but you need revenue. And unless you actually have a plan, your company's going to be dead in a month. And they're like, well, Ben, thanks for your time, but we got, as far as this just business decisions go, I think we know what we're doing. Don't forget to grab a free iPad on your way out. I was like, yeah, which I wish I knew people like that.
Right. Well, and I thought it was like the character, like he believes so much that this is a bad thing for his friend, because I think Ben sees Tom, even though he's terrible at business, he's like, yeah, we still are friends. Like, he's not going to hurt him by taking an iPad. So it's like these little tiny decisions. He's like, and they even call, it's like, hey, he didn't even have one. So like, I was like, man, I probably would have taken one.
I probably would have too. Because it's like,
back then, because I didn't have one.
Yeah, if you're dumb enough to just be giving these away, like I'm smart enough to take one. That's how I look at it. so, um, so then towards the end of the episode, Tom comes and sees Ben, and Ben, Tom's like, "Look, I'm sorry. We had 5 accountants look at E720, and they all said the same thing you did." And Ben's response is, "Well, the first thing you need to do is get rid of 4 of those accountants." That's good advice. And then Tom's like, "Look, here, I got you this. It's an iPad." And Ben's like, "You got to stop giving these away like candy." He's like, "I bought this for you personally as a thank you." And even at the end, like Tom's trying to get a little bit of like schmooze credit. He's like, "It's an iPad."
Right.
Like, I spent a lot of money on this for you. So yeah, so there's a little bit of an awakening happening there with Tom having 5 accountants look at their books. And so knowing what I know about E720, the company is not long for this world.
Mm-hmm.
How they manage to get any more months out of this than is actually happening, I don't know, but they find a way. And then the credit scene.
How much money did he get in that Lexus crash?
I don't know.
Who hit him? Jeff Bezos?
Well, I don't know how they did it, but it was enough. So, but I bet also, John Ralphio's dad will come to find out is a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I bet he is not the most ethical person in the world. So he probably wrote up some stuff.
Oh, I see.
Like, yeah, it was really bad. It was all bad. And millions and millions of dollars.
Right. Padded the injury stats.
Yeah. And then the credits are from the B plot in this episode. And Ben is giving an overview of the E720 office space and pointing out like there's someone reading a magazine, someone's applying nail polish, that person is in a deep sleep. And then like this chair was $27,000. That chair has a roof. And then there's a video of a boat and then just a weird U-shaped chair. And I was like, what are you supposed to do with that? So
he was very perplexed by the furniture choices.
Yes. And as am I still. Every time I see what's happening in E720, like not only did they get that airplane hangar or warehouse or whatever it is, but they like painted the whole thing white.
Right.
And then added those different levels for different people to work on. It was all crazy. So it drives me nuts every time I'm watching the E720 situation. It's just like, ugh, not good. You guys. Painful.
Right, but at least it was John Ralphio's money and not Tom's this time.
Right. That is a good point.
We like Tom eventually.
Yeah. Tom is along for the ride. And as long as John Ralphio is funding it, I hate John Ralphio. So great, man. You lose all your money? Cool.
Right.
So, okay. So now let's go back all the way to the cold open. And it's the A plot. Dun, 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 dun. A plot is now. This is the A plot. That's how that's what that show's about.
Are you going to do that? You have to do that every time now.
I don't think I will, but I'll probably forget I did that when we say bye.
Okay.
Later. Like it just won't be in my brain.
The end of this sentence.
All right. So they cold open starts and Leslie's like, all right, battle royale is coming up. Every department is in one room arguing for more money. It's a budgetary Thunderdome. And she's like, my secret weapon is Ron, because he just stares at people until they back down. And so she's excited. And so then she goes to get Ron out of his office and she sees that he's just got piles of paper and detritus on his desk. And she's like, what is going on? And he's like, look, Tammy showed up. I'm getting audited. And he's like, no, that's your worst nightmare. And like, you could go to jail. And Ron is like, his first response is look at the camera and go, income tax is illegal. True libertarian statement.
Right.
And then he's also then says like, this is just one more way for Tammy to treat me like a puppet. So it's psychological control. And it's all, everything that happens in this episode is all spelled out in this cold open. Like right. Ron tells us exactly what's going to happen right here. And so Leslie's like, we'll help you. And so she yells for Andy and April to come in, and April's like, stop being annoying. And Leslie ignores that and tells them to go grab your calculators. And Andy runs out. And then Leslie's like, all right, it's Operation Rescue Run. And then Andy comes back in with the Rolodex. She's like, I'm in a calculator.
That's his character. He's just like the dumb golden retriever who's like, he is the first person to go do something.
Yeah.
It might be wrong, but he will go do it with gusto.
Yeah.
Like he's go.
Give it his all. So, he's always just on. So cut forward, they're going through all this stuff, and April is looking at his receipts like, you've only spent $40 on clothes in the past 5 years. Like, yeah, that's right.
That sounds about right.
Then we learn how they met. And because she's significantly older than Ron. And we find out that she was a candy striper at the hospital when he was born, and she helped deliver him. She was his what?
The ladies were both April and Leslie like, ew, and Andy's like, aw.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Andy. And then it's like, we grew up in a small town. Everybody knew everybody. They first got together when he was 15, and Andy's like, awesome.
Yeah.
And Leslie is shocked, and Ron's like, look, everyone was afraid of her, so they just kept their mouth shut, and we did everything. And April is like enamored with her power over here. And Ron continues, like, she taught me everything I know: Sunday school, sex. She was my math teacher in middle school, my babysitter, and she taught driver's ed. Everything like is from him. And then she comes in, and Leslie's like, I don't think we've met. And Tammy's like, I don't think it'll be necessary for you to speak while I'm here. So she's intense right away. And then it cuts to talking head, where it's like, Ron says, like, why do I only date brunettes? And I thought this was so great. And it's like, if you ever get food poisoning from chicken, and like even the sight of chicken makes you sick, Tammy 1 is my blonde chicken. So, and so she calls him Ronald.
Wait, hold on. What's your sick food? Like everybody I feel like most everybody has some form of food that they're just like, I can't eat that. Mostly because they got sick at some point in their life.
Actually, the only time where I think I've had food poisoning that I could nail it to a specific thing is, I would still go back and eat there again. So I was actually thinking about it today.
It was good. It wasn't their fault, so I'll go back.
I'm not going to hold it against them.
That's on me. That's on me. My weak body couldn't handle it.
It was spicy chicken from Yummy Teriyaki, and it's in Redmond. Oh, yeah. And my kids and I are going to Redmond later today. And I'm like, I wonder if I can go there for dinner.
Yeah.
So, but the food that like makes me want to throw up, but I never have thrown up, is green bean casserole.
Okay. Well, that's mostly because it looks like throw up.
Yeah. It looks like somebody already got started on it.
Yeah.
So what's yours?
Apricot juice. When I was little, I was taking a road trip with my grandparents and I was in the back of a van. For some reason, I don't remember being belt buckled in or anything, because it was, the before times. And I had a box of apricot juice, and I was just chugging it, and I got car sick and just threw up everywhere. And it was like this bright orange. It was disgusting. And to this day, I smell apricot juice, which I don't smell very often, but when I do, it's like, it's coming.
I didn't even know you could buy apricot juice.
I don't think you can anymore. I think they outlawed it just because of that.
They heard about you. The FDA was like, did you hear about Jeremy?
Mm-hmm.
He got so sick. Do you remember? I mean, they still make it, but Sobe drinks. I used to love those. Like
Sobe Life Water.
Well, is that what it's called?
That's what it used to be called. I don't know what they call it now.
Like the pink one that had like a grapefruit thing.
Yes.
I love grapefruit. It's so good. And the other day I was at a gas station, perusing my menu options of delicious gas station cuisine. And I was walking by the cold case.
Whoa. Hold on. Sorry. Is that where the Michelin stars come from? Because of like gas stations and Michelin sells tires?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Yeah. It's just a big, fat, pale dude comes through. Is like, hey, where's your rolling hot dogs? If you want to be a 6-star restaurant, try some rolling hot dogs and some microwaved burritos.
Do you have a cheese dispenser?
Oh, that also sounds really good. I was seriously, the news that came out yesterday about like no masks, like, yeah, and I'm fully vaccinated, so it's like I'm even just thinking today, like I can go to 7-Eleven and get whatever I want. I'm invincible. So I'm pretty excited.
You got your Sobe at the gas station.
Yeah, but they changed it. So it used to be like, looking like water.
Mhm.
Right? I didn't buy the Sobe because now it looks like a big old bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
Mhm.
Like it looks creamy. Which,
I think your Sobe went bad.
how long has this been out here?
Since the last Vans Warp Tour? Okay.
Yeah, I saw Blink-182 and I was just chugging Sobe. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. That also makes me not feel good when I look at that. Like,
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I mean, I've never had it since they changed the formula, but
Take that, Sobe.
just looking at it makes me not feel great. So, yeah. So, and here we are back in this moment with Tammy one. There we are. And so Tammy's like, look, this is much bigger than you think. I need all access to all of your finances. We need to do a complete overhaul. And then, and Ron's like, I don't think that's necessary. And it's like, are we playing a game where everything you say is stupid? And then she looks over at Andy and she says, what's your name? And he's Tim Buchanowski.
Well, he made the mistake of laughing at the stupid game. Like he was like,
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
You.
And so she says, you're going to collect all this stuff off of Ronald's desk and you're going to put it in my car. And then she says to Leslie, you're going to go and like get all the payroll stuff from the office here. And Leslie's like, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't know how long this is going to take. But we have an important thing we have to do together. It's called a battle royale. We're going to fight for money. And
Ron's just like waving her out, trying to wave her off. Like, no, just don't. It's not worth it.
Right. And she's like, I'm sure Ron will remember this big meeting when he's in prison making toilet wine. So it's like, okay, I'll go to payroll. So then April is still just like, she's the cold, distant mother I never had. I love her. So April is much nicer than Tammy.
It's true.
And I don't like Tammy, like at all. So she's terrible. So there's a cut here. This would be an ad break. There's some time that has passed. And Ron comes in with no mustache and a very bright colored horizontal striped shirt, which was shocking. So, and Leslie's response is, your mustache fell off. So, and his whole personality is transformed. And he's like, look, Tammy pointed out that my face looked better without any hair on it. And it's also, food crumbs. It's unsanitary. And even like, hey, Jer, hump day, am I right? Jer's only line in this whole episode. What?
Yeah. Even he's like, he's beyond shocked. He's like almost like disgustedly terrified. Like,
right.
I don't know what to do with this. Yeah.
So who is this Ron person? And she has completely transformed him. They have a joint banking account now. And she's going to help him. And Leslie's like, how's that going to help? He's like, I'm not sure. But when she explains it, it makes sense. It's so nice having her around. And then also every moment of Ron in this state makes me happy. Because he's like, here's something neat. Tammy's got me taking baby aspirin to lower the risk of heart disease. Science is a miracle. Anywho, back to the old grindstone. These emails aren't going to send themselves, which is the first time I think Ron has ever sent an email.
The genius of this from like a production standpoint or like a career standpoint is that what they do with Ron and with the Tammys and stuff is that he gets to be a different actor. Like he gets to act in different capacities. So, right. And this is such a different character that could be really funny. Like his facial expressions are hilarious. So it's not just cheesy Ron. Like this Nick Offerman's really doing a great job here. Just like when he was a total psychopath with Tammy 1. So
that's Tammy 2.
Tammy. Yes, Tammy 2. So yeah, just hats off to Nick Offerman. Like it's like we see him just as Ron, but if you kind of watch through the series, like he gets these moments to be totally different characters, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's almost like he is becoming Glenn Sturgis from Superstore. Like this is how Glenn starts.
Yeah, this is where it starts. Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's great. I love that, we get to see the range of Nick Offerman all the while playing Ron Swanson. So
Right.
he's Ron, Ronald, and later he will be Ronnie. And then it cuts. Next time we cut back to the office, there's an extra who's just like, "Thank you," and Ron's like, "We're here to help, man. So hope the rest of your day is cool beans."
I don't know that one. Once again, that's a laugh out loud line because it's Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
He says, "Cool beans,
cool beans." And so Leslie's like, "Ron, what is this memo that you're not going to the battle royale? Like, first of all, I was alarmed that you sent a memo." And then also you love arguing against government spending. And so why don't you want to do it? And so Ron's response is the government knows what it's doing. I'm confident that, and then Leslie slaps him in the face. And then you and I are going to lunch. And he's like, I have to ask permission. And Tammy says no. And so he's like, I can't go. And so Leslie's like, no, it's happening. So then cut to restaurant. Well, there's a talking head where Leslie says, when Ron falls for Tammy too, he turns into a demonic sex maniac, but this neutered wimp, this is worth. Operation Golden Dove is in trouble. Yeah. And I love the operations are all some kind of bird
right?
Operation
Majestic
as it moves
bird.
forward. Yeah. So Operation Golden Dove is in trouble. And so they're at the restaurant and Ron's like, there are some things I need to speak to you about, but I'm not quite sure how to phrase them. And he's like, you can say whatever you want. It's just between you and me. Isn't that right, my love? And look over and Tammy is right there at the table. And so Tammy is like, Ron wanted me to be here. And then Ron's like, Tammy's totally cool. Can I go to the bathroom? And he leaves. And she's like, remember to wash your hands. And then Leslie just confronts her. Is like, what is this? Is this audit even real? And she's like, in a sense, like I'm auditing his life because I want him back and I want to make sure my future is protected. And I'm impressed. He's acquired quite a bit of gold. And Leslie's like, you literally are a gold digger. So, yeah. So Leslie is, knows exactly what's going on, and Ron is oblivious. And the next talking head is Ron and Tammy in the, because now Ron can't even do talking heads by himself. Tammy's there, and he's like, everybody needs somebody. Every man needs a woman who can call him out on their crap, right? And Tammy is just silent, and he, you can see like in his face is like she did not approve of that.
Browbeaten.
Yes. So go back to the time goes on, and then we see Leslie saying like, we're being attacked by Godzilla. We need Mothra. No offense. Reveal. We're talking to Tammy too. She's like, I'm flattered. But and then Tammy immediately starts hitting on Andy. Like, who's this? It's like, hey, I'm Andy. Which is so great. And then Leslie's like, listen, I need you to break him from her spell, like dress up in a meat or something. And Tammy too is like, I've done all that, but she's crazy. When Ron left her and we got together, she threw acid on my feet. And April is grossed out, and Andy's like, could we take a peek at it? I love Andy so much. So Tammy too is like, I can't do this. She was my Sunday school teacher too. She
which is such a great line, because it's like she was everyone's Sunday school teacher.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is this small town. How the Ron and Tammy got out of that small town into Pawnee, and they both moved to Pawnee. Like their lives are so intertwined for their whole life. It's so crazy. Did
you know that Tammy 1 is actually a year younger than Tammy 2 in real life?
I did not know that.
Well, now you do.
Well, Tammy 1 is very good at acting spinstery. So
no.
Yeah. And she's like, Tammy 2 says about Tammy 1, she can pinpoint your weaknesses and destroy you with just one word and a jar of acid. And then Andy's like, I have an idea. And he's like, I have ideas too. So then they go to Ron's mom,
Perfect.
and as they're at the house, Ron, Leslie is trying to get her on on Ron's side, but Andy finds out that there's a room full of just guns. And Leslie's like, "Why do you have so many guns?" And I love Ron's mom. This is America, isn't it? Yes. Then I don't have to answer stupid questions while standing on my own property. And she's in. Let's go.
Which
So
the line could have been over if she said, "This is America, isn't it?" Like, oh yeah, that makes sense then.
right, yeah. In
But then she keeps
this
going.
world, yeah, I don't have to answer dumb questions. And so they're going back, and it's a different kind of battle royale. And this one is Operation Soaring Falcon.
which is in its final stages.
Yeah.
We've reached the end game,
which is a drink off of Ron Swanson family mash liquor. It's made from the finest corn ever grown on America's soil. They only use it to strip varnish off of the speedboats, but then we also find out they use it to burn warts off of mules. It's some strong stuff, and so the Tammy and Ron's mom are going to have a drink off, and then Leslie's like, "No, I'm in this too because I want." They're both saying like if whoever wins, they get Ron to come with them. And Leslie's like, "No, I want Ron to stay here with me." And she takes the first drink and she's like, "That was a big mistake."
Poison.
Yeah, poison. And then cut to the next one is like had enough, and Ron's like, "Of this," or Leslie's like, "Of this." No, that's Tammy. Sorry, reading is hard. Of this baby formula, not even close. And Leslie is more and more drunk. And she says, "Not Mevin Clark's, Marvin Claude's, Glenn Close." So she's having a hard time.
She can't feel her face.
Yeah. So then the next scene they cut to, she's saying, "Everybody prance now. Prance, 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 prance." And Rose's like, "She's had enough. Call it off." And then April's like, "No, I'm going to sub in." And then she is going to drink it. And she's like, "I'm Puerto Rican. I can handle it." And Ron's like, "That stuff will melt the shell off a garden snail." And she drinks some. And she's like, "This is awful. This is terrible." And Ron basically takes all of it and drinks the whole thing by himself. And I love the way like Ron holds the jar like over his head using just a little hook in the mash in the typical mash liquor jar. A little hook on his hand, and he's using his arm to hold the weight, and drinks the whole thing, polishes it off. It's like, "It's done. It's done. It's over."
And the little tap at the end to make sure he got all the that was my favorite, the flourish, like every drop.
Yeah. And he's like, "Mom, you're going back to the farm," and Tammy 1, "You're going back to hell." And she's like, "Fine. I already know where your safe is. I still have your gold." And Ron's response is, "That's decoy gold." So, like, I don't know if he painted lead. I don't know what it is, but she took half of it. And Leslie's response is, "Ron, your family's weird." So,
decoy gold. I love it.
Yeah. So, man, what?
Which is kind of funny because Tom and John Ralphio have decoy money. So
that's true. That's true. The thing that I love about Ron's response is he has these 4 women in his life at this point: Tammy 1, Tammy 2, Mom, and Leslie. And all of them are, want Ron for themselves, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And, Leslie is willing to put her life on the line to rescue Ron from Tammy 1. And what is so great is like Ron, and this is going to sound so stupid in the age that we live in, but Ron recognizes what's happening here and takes agency for himself. Now, yes, he is a white man in America, so this hasn't been a problem for most of his life. But like in this moment, he's like, "I don't want anybody to think they are rescuing me. I'm going to do this for myself."
Yeah, because it doesn't owe anybody anything.
Right. Which is a pretty Ron Swanson way to go. So, and so just thinking about like, I was writing down in my notes, like, Ron takes agency. And I was like, he's always had agency, Jason. This world and his whole life has always been about himself. But here, like, you can see how easily he can be manipulated by the Tammys in his life. And so now he's standing up for himself.
Yeah, it's his major character flaw.
Yeah, he loves love. So,
or Tammys, I don't know.
Would he get married again? Yeah, sure. If you're not in love, what's the point of living? He says earlier. So, yeah. But that's this episode, and there are so many things that happened in this one, and this was a long conversation we've already had. So
yeah,
just looking at the time, like, wow, that went quick. So
yeah, it was 8.7 on IMDb, and coming up next, we've got Born and Raised. Leslie is accused of not being born in Pawnee while she's trying to promote her new book about the city.
Oh my gosh. You know who's in this one? Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's in this one. We've got some we've got some Marlene, we've got some Joan Calamezzo. We have is Purd in this one? The only thing missing on this immediate list is Purd. Oh, there's no Purd. Anyway, that would have made life even better. So, but yeah, Born and Raised. This is great. You're gonna send Jerry on a quest.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry. So yeah, it'll be great. I'm excited.
What'd you think of this episode?
I think this one's super fun. I think if it was just the A plot and the B plot, I would have been happy.
Sure.
I would have given it a 9.
Oh,
the
wow.
C plot is not necessary. I need to point something out real quick though.
Okay.
We have a very important introduction in the next episode. Listener, Derry Merbles.
Oh, yeah.
Thoughts for your thoughts. That's going to be great. So, yeah, I would give this one if it was not the C plot, I would give it a 9. With the C plot, I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Okay.
Where would you be?
Yeah, I'd say right around there as well. I think 8.7 is pretty. I think I just kind of ignored the C plot, but I agree that without it, we could have had more A or B, especially with the ridiculousness of B. So, but yeah, it was good. It was really funny. I wish we'd had more like Donna in there, but
yeah, no Donna.
They can't get everybody. So, yeah.
Well, you can't always get what you want. That's what the Rolling Stones taught us.
It is.
And I was like, I want to turn this song off. And it's like, I can't. So what are you going to do?
Wow.
I don't like the Rolling Stones.
They gather no moss.
Sure. There's a couple songs I like. But when people are like, Stones are better than the Beatles, I'm like, I don't even know how to talk to you anymore.
Wow. That's a whole nother podcast.
Mm-hmm. You ready?
Sure. Let's go.
Well, welcome to Stones versus Beatles.
The after podcast.
All you need is my right opinion. You know what? He may be the walrus, but he's a rock star to me. Anyway, I should stop.
Okay.
You don't know the Beatles very well, do you? Like, I'm saying things.
No, I mean, I understand your references,
okay.
But I'm not. Yeah, I never really super got into the Beatles. That's okay.
All right. Well, I think about this stuff 8 days a week. So,
wow, that must be a hard day's night for you.
I've been working like a dog.
I'm going to lose this one poorly, so I'm just going to go live in my yellow submarine as we leave. I'm literally running out of Beatles songs. I don't know many more.
You were so close. You said, I'm going to lose this one, but it's like, there's a song, I'm going to lose you.
Oh, wow.
Or I'm a loser is also one. So.
No, that's Beck. That's Beck.
Well, who's the first Beck in this world?
I don't know.
John Lennon.
Okay.
If there was no John Lennon, there'd be no Beck. And if there was no Beck, there'd be no end to this randomness. So we should go.
Okay.
We should go. So, listener, thank you for putting up with the end of this. If you're still here, next time I see you in real life, high five. Those are allowed again. So
bonus points.
Yeah. If I see you in real life. So yeah, we'll see y'all later, y'all.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.